Our planet, seen from the silent blackness of space, is a swirling marble of blue and white. It is a lonely, living outpost in the vast cosmos. As we draw closer, this sphere of life reveals its true complexity. We drift over immense oceans, their surfaces shimmering with reflected sunlight. Hidden entire worlds within their depths. Great forests breathe life into the atmosphere. Creation, destruction, renewal. The forces that shape this world are powerful and often unpredictable. Sometimes, nature defies all expectations. It presents moments so extraordinary, they seem to border on the impossible. We might call them miracles, not events that break the laws of physics, but moments that inspire awe and wonder. Events that can be recorded, explained, and are still absolutely breathtaking. There is a silence that falls over the world when a species disappears. A thread pulled from an ancient tapestry, leaving a void that can never be rewoven in quite the same way. It's the loss of a unique biological story, a genetic library millions of years in the making, and a vital participant in the intricate dance of its ecosystem. The world becomes a little less complex, a little less wondrous. For the majestic humpback whale, this silence was drawing perilously close. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, the industrialization of whaling brought them to the very edge of oblivion. Driven by a demand for oil, meat, and baleen, factory ships armed with explosive harpoons pursued them into the most remote corners of the ocean. The slaughter was brutally efficient. It's estimated that over 90% of the world's humpback population was wiped out. Their numbers crashed so low that their songs, complex acoustic compositions that once filled the oceans, had all but faded. These weren't just sounds. They were the fabric of a culture, passed down through generations, carrying the knowledge of migration routes, mating grounds, and social bonds. The ocean was losing its memory. But then, against the grim tide of history, something extraordinary began to happen. In the quieted oceans, a few scattered survivors held on. Slowly, cautiously, the whales began to return. From the protected breeding grounds in the tropics to the frigid feeding waters of the poles, sightings became more frequent. A lone breach on the horizon, then two, then a whole pod. The silence was beginning to break. Their recovery is a miracle of resilience, backed by hard data. In the western South Atlantic, a population that had dwindled to just 450 individuals has rebounded to an estimated 25,000, nearing its pre-whaling numbers. Similar stories are unfolding across the globe. From a global population low of perhaps 5,000, there are now close to 80,000 humpbacks. It is one of the most significant conservation success stories of our time. This comeback was not an accident. It was the direct result of a monumental human decision. After decades of growing scientific evidence and a groundswell of public support, the International Whaling Commission enacted a global moratorium on commercial whaling in 1986. The science behind the recovery is elegantly simple. When the relentless pressure of the hunt was removed, the whales were given the one thing they needed most, a chance to breed, to raise their young, and to slowly rebuild their ancient societies. Today, the song of the humpback is growing louder once more, evolving and spreading through the seas. Each breach against the horizon feels like a victory cry. It is a powerful living symbol of hope, a testament to the profound capacity for renewal that exists within the natural world. It proves that with foresight and collective will, the path to extinction is not always a one-way street. The tapestry is not yet whole, but the threads are being mended, one magnificent whale at a time. Imagine a landscape scarred and abandoned. A place where human industry, in its relentless pursuit of resources, has stripped the earth bare. It looks like a wound on the face of the planet, a testament to extraction without restoration. The soil, compacted and depleted of nutrients, is washed away by the rains, carving deep gullies into the land. The vibrant symphony of the forest has been replaced by an unnerving silence. It seems like a permanent scar, a place where life has been irrevocably extinguished, a desert in the heart of what was once a thriving ecosystem. From this vantage point, the prospect of recovery seems not just unlikely, but impossible. But nature had a different plan. In the face of this desolation, the planet's own healing mechanisms began to stir. Without a single tree being planted by human hands, a forest began to regrow on its own. The first agents of this change are often invisible, carried on the wind or by passing animals. They are the pioneers, the hardiest of species, whose seeds find purchase in the smallest cracks and crevices. These are not the towering trees of a mature forest, but humble, resilient plants that can survive where others cannot. The process is called natural succession, a quiet, patient miracle unfolding over years and decades. Hardy pioneer plants like grasses and tenacious shrubs arrive first. Their roots begin the arduous work of breaking up the compacted soil, creating pathways for air and water. As they live and die, their organic matter decomposes, slowly enriching the earth with a thin new layer of topsoil. They are the ecological martyrs, preparing the way for the next generation. This foundational stage is critical. It transforms a sterile environment into a nursery for future life. With the soil stabilized and slightly enriched, the next wave of life can arrive. Birds and small mammals, attracted by the initial vegetation, venture back into the area. They act as nature's gardeners, bringing with them the seeds of larger shrubs and fast-growing trees from the surrounding forests. Each visit is a deposit, a seed of potential for a more complex ecosystem. Slowly, the green frontier advances. The landscape begins to change from a monochrome brown to a patchwork of greens, a sign that the intricate web of life is being rewoven, thread by thread. Over time, these efforts culminate in a young, thriving forest. A canopy forms, creating shade and a more humid microclimate on the forest floor, allowing shade-tolerant species to establish themselves. The silence is broken by the return of birdsong and the hum of insects. It is a profound reminder that sometimes the most powerful act of restoration is not intervention, but restraint. It teaches us that the best thing we can do is simply step back, protect the area from further harm, and let the land heal itself. This same resilience can be found in another of Earth's vital ecosystems, hidden beneath the waves. Here, a different kind of wound appears. When ocean temperatures rise even slightly above their normal summer maximum, corals, the architects of the reef, are pushed past their breaking point. Under this thermal stress, they expel the microscopic algae, called zooxanthellae, that live within their tissues. These algae are the coral's primary source of food and are responsible for their vibrant colors. Without them, the coral's transparent tissues reveal their white calcium carbonate skeletons, a phenomenon known as coral bleaching. The result is a silent, ghostly underwater graveyard, a clear and devastating warning of a world out of balance. This recovery is possible because bleaching is a stress response, not instant death. The coral animal itself is still alive, but it is starving. It enters a state of perilous limbo. If the stressful conditions, the elevated water temperatures, persist for too long, the coral will die, and the reef structure will eventually crumble to rubble, taking with it the habitat for countless marine species. However, if the conditions improve in time, if the waters cool, a window of opportunity opens for a second miracle. In protected areas where other stressors like pollution and overfishing are minimized, a quiet miracle has been observed. As temperatures return to normal, the corals can begin to regain their microscopic partners from the surrounding water. Gentle underwater visuals document the breathtaking transition from a bleached wasteland back to a living, breathing reef. The process is slow, almost imperceptible at first. A faint blush of color returns, then deepens. The algae repopulate the coral's tissues, restarting the symbiotic engine that powers the entire ecosystem. With the coral's recovery, the rest of the community follows. The small fish that shelter in its branches return, followed by the larger predators that hunt them. The reef once again buzzes with the complex interactions of thousands of species. Each returning patch of color is a flicker of hope, a sign that even in the face of global threats, nature's capacity for healing is immense. It is a powerful testament that even the most fragile of worlds, given a chance, can find its way back from the brink. We often think of deserts as voids, defined by what they lack, and few places on Earth embody this sense of emptiness more profoundly than the Atacama Desert in Chile. It is the driest, non-polar desert in the world, a landscape sculpted by extreme scarcity. Trapped in a double rain shadow between the Andes Mountains and the Chilean Coast Range, some weather stations here have never recorded a single drop of rain. The average rainfall across the region is a mere 15 millimeters per year. For years, even decades, this vast expanse of sand and rock appears utterly devoid of life, locked in a state of profound dormancy. It is a world in waiting, a silent testament to the power of patience, where life has not been extinguished, but is merely sleeping, suspended in time. But then, when the conditions are just right, often triggered by the El Niño weather phenomenon bringing unusual moisture from the Pacific, the desert undergoes a magical transformation. Following a rare, substantial rainfall, the impossible happens. Seemingly overnight, the barren ground is carpeted with a breathtaking explosion of over 200 species of flowers. This phenomenon, known as the Desierto Florido, or flowering desert, is a spectacle of rebirth on a colossal scale. The landscape, once a monochrome palette of ochre and brown, erupts into a vibrant tapestry of violet, fuchsia, and gold. It is a fleeting, ephemeral paradise, a world that awakens for a few precious weeks to paint the desert in the colors of life. This incredible spectacle is made possible by a hidden treasure buried just centimeters beneath the sand. A vast and ancient seed bank, a library of life waiting for its story to be told. These are not ordinary seeds. They are geophytes, equipped with bulbs, tubers, and rhizomes, each one a perfectly sealed capsule of potential. Their tough, waxy coatings protect them from the desiccating sun and extreme temperatures for decades, sometimes even centuries. They are waiting for a very specific signal. Not just any rain, but a significant downpour that can soak deep into the soil, washing away the chemical inhibitors that enforce their slumber. When this trigger arrives, it is a synchronized, system-wide awakening. The bloom is a frantic, beautiful rush against time. An entire ecosystem, dormant alongside the seeds, springs to life. Insects, lizards, birds, and small mammals emerge to feast on the sudden abundance of nectar, pollen, and new growth. It is a stunning display of life's resilience, a powerful reminder that even in the most hostile environments, life finds a way not just to survive, but to flourish with explosive, coordinated beauty. It's a strategy of seizing a rare and precious opportunity, a miracle of timing and patience written in petals across the desert floor. From the stark openness of the desert, we turn to another of Earth's great ecosystems, the forest. Above ground, the great forests of the world appear to be a collection of silent, solitary individuals. Each tree seems locked in a quiet, centuries-long competition for sunlight and space, standing apart from its neighbors. We see a struggle for dominance, a vertical race towards the sky. But this perspective only reveals half the story. Beneath our feet, hidden from view, a far more complex and collaborative narrative unfolds. Here, in the darkness of the soil, lies a vast, ancient, and intricate network. A biological internet woven from the fine, thread-like filaments of fungi, known as mycelium. This is the mycorrhizal network, a symbiotic partnership between fungi and the roots of plants. The fungi, unable to photosynthesize, draw carbon-rich sugars from the trees. In return, their vast web of filaments acts as an extension of the tree's own root systems, sometimes increasing their reach for water and nutrients by hundreds of times. This subterranean web links not just trees of the same species, but nearly every plant in the entire forest, creating a single, cohesive community. Through this wood wide web, the forest becomes a place of constant communication and exchange. Resources flow to where they are needed most. Older, more established mother trees can shuttle excess carbon and nutrients to vulnerable saplings struggling in the shade, nurturing the next generation. But the network carries more than just food. It carries information. When one tree is attacked by pests or disease, it can send out electrochemical distress signals through the mycelial threads. Neighboring trees receive these warnings and can ramp up their own chemical defenses before the threat even arrives. This turns a collection of individuals into a single, interconnected, and intelligent superorganism. It is a silent, invisible conversation happening on a scale that is difficult to comprehend. A miracle of cooperation that underpins the health, resilience, and longevity of the entire forest community. This hidden world reveals that nature's greatest strength often lies not in competition, but in connection. It is a profound lesson in interdependence, demonstrating that the whole is truly greater and stronger than the sum of its parts. In the aftermath of disaster, when it seems impossible that life could endure, small, intimate acts of survival unfold. Rivers, once choked with pollution, can slowly clean themselves. When the source of pollution is cut off, microorganisms and natural water flow work to restore the ecosystem. Within polar sea ice, a hidden garden of microscopic algae flourishes. This bloom forms the very foundation of the entire polar food web. And sometimes we are granted a rare privilege to witness a new beginning for a rare animal, a quiet miracle that inspires us to protect the world that makes such moments possible. When the constant hum of human life fades, nature tentatively steps back in, reclaiming territory that was once theirs. A seed, recovered from an ancient fortress, awakens after a 2,000-year slumber, a living link to a distant past, and a weather event that appears threatening can be an agent of salvation, a system-wide reset for an ecosystem dying of thirst. Life is not static. We can now witness evolution in real time, as species adapt their bodies and behaviors to our rapidly changing world. The patient kingdom of plants is slowly disassembling our forgotten works, turning monuments of concrete and steel back into living soil. And in the most extreme environments imaginable, of crushing pressure and boiling toxicity, life finds a way, running on a completely different engine, powered by the heat of the earth itself. We have witnessed 15 moments of profound wonder. They feel like miracles, but they do not happen by breaking the laws of nature. Instead, they reveal those laws in their most spectacular and breathtaking form. They show us that hope is not just an emotion, but a scientific principle built into the very fabric of life. These stories invite us to become better partners with this resilient planet, to learn from its wisdom, and to protect the very systems that protect us. Let us watch, let us learn, and let us work to ensure that for generations to come, nature will continue to record its beautiful, breathtaking miracles.